I mentioned, today was laundry day, but let's talk a little bit about keeping things clean in general. Not only clothing, but the truck and your living environment, the campsite, of course. We want to keep those things clean. So when they took the rear seat out and installed the seat delete from Goose Gear, which is basically paneling, and put the refrigerator in there, the mat that was on the floor, you know, the floor mat, they were going to just throw that out. And I decided to keep it and use it here in the back. And let me show you what I'm talking about. So we'll come in here. I had to take and cut it because there was a hump in the middle of it. But the thing that I like about it is that it has these ridges that are raised, and so when I step on this, the sand can fall in there and gets trapped in the dirt and stuff, and then I can take them out and just clean it out. So that has worked. It has helped to keep things clean. This tailgate step really helps clean things off too on your feet. I just stamp my foot there a few times, sand and dirt fall through the grating, and then I can go ahead and climb up into the truck, and anything that remains gets caught by the mat, so it works out really well. Speaking of keeping things clean, after I went on the trails at Windrock in North Carolina last Saturday, this truck was covered in mud. I mean, I went through pools of water that came up to one of the headlights, constantly going on muddy paths and throwing up mud. And then there were places where there was dust all over the place that was being raised by the vehicles in front of me as well as my own. So when I left there, I went to a car wash and I was putting in quarters, and luckily I brought a huge bag of quarters that I had accumulated from a long time. And I would put in $1.50. 40 seconds later, it would start beeping you, warning you that you better put in more coins or it's going to stop. And I don't know, 30 seconds later or whatever, it stopped. And I must have put in $15 of quarters trying to clean the truck. I don't mind putting in that much, that's fine, but it was rather irritating to have to constantly put in coins and turning around and having that beeping thing and stuff. Why don't they just say, hey, you know, $15 and you got your wash or whatever. Anyway, I did clean underneath it. I cleaned inside the hood. It was interesting that when you pull on the trigger on the wand, you get the high pressure, but when you let go, it was giving out a fine spray that was gentler. And so that's what I used in the engine. I made sure that I wasn't forcing anything into the the components in the engine, because although they are sealed, under pressure like that, you can run into trouble. And also, Bobby at ABO, who's the lead mechanic there, suggested that I leave the truck running, and I did that. Didn't have any problems. It cleaned up really nicely. I also climbed up and made sure that the solar panels were washed off and clean. There was a lot of dust up there, and that would have interfered with them capturing energy from the sun. I have met some wonderful people out here at this particular campsite too. People come up and they're curious about the truck, and we strike up a conversation, and I just love that. Thank you all who have stopped by.